Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Chips and Talk. Grab a snack. Let's chat. This is episode 63. I'm your host, Super Jesus Jackson, and there is, unfortunately, a conflicted, homeless individual outside my neighborhood yelling. This is about like once a week at this point, and it's interesting because what do? I mean, like, to be perfectly frank, I have arrived to my house. There have been times where this individual was very near, and I don't know. I think it's interesting. This person doesn't really. I mean, I don't know if they're acknowledging me, but they don't really do anything. Like it's not like they're gonna do anything, but you never know, you know. But you don't want to be that person that's just like avoiding, you know, because it's kind of weird. But they're also. Yeah, I mean, they're not on my property, right? They're just on... It's so weird because this person is yelling absurd things, profanities. They're high, clearly, on something. And it's like she's... it's a she, by the way. And she's creating these scenarios, like, in her head, and she's like in another world, in another dimension, like yelling and screaming to someone and things that are not there, right? It's delusion, literal delusion, right? But it's interesting that she's very much still aware of her surroundings in the way that, I mean, I'm sure that sometimes the couple times that I have been near, or I think maybe once, but I was coming out of my car, I was getting to my house, and, you know, she said something like, oh, get the hell away from me, or something like that, you know, like, and it's like, are you talking to me? You know what I mean? But like, those are the things that she does end up saying sometimes anyway. Like, you know, and it happens like, you know, I would say once a week at least, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and sometimes it's not even super late at night. It's actually early. Like it's 8:37 p.m. right now. And, you know, sometimes she'll be like a little bit, you know, like a block away or something like that doing it. I don't even know what a block is, but she's, you know, on another set of the neighborhood. And then she comes over here and she's just very near like our street. So I don't know. It's bizarre, but I like how what is there to like? It's interesting how, you know, there is still a sense of awareness. It's like when you're driving and there's a homeless person like on the sidewalk and you know that they're clearly under the influence of something, and you're like, they're doing weird stuff, and you're like, this person will most definitely like jump onto the road and do something, but they don't, you know? I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It's really interesting. But I'm super congested right now. I'm so sorry. I'm always congested. There's always some sort of mucus in my nose. My throat always needs to be cleared. I'm not sure. And I hope you're seeing me perfectly well here on my camera. Of course, you can see the full video on Super Jesus Jackson, the YouTube channel. Most of you are watching through there anyway, or you're maybe on Spotify or Apple Music. I really appreciate the support. But of course, yes, huzzah. I don't know what I'm doing. I have Cheetos. Of course, Chips and Talk. We literally grab a snack of any kind, sometimes no snack, and we eat it. Chips are preferred, of course, but sometimes, like I said, we don't have a snack at all. But Cheetos are preferred. The fries, the Cheetos fries, those are my favorite chip. And it's that thing, like I said, I think I've said this before on the podcast, but I buy them like once a month, like at least I would say, maybe, I don't know. But every time I buy them, like I don't eat them very often anymore. Like, and whenever I do get them, and in like 2 days it's done. Which is, for some of you might be like, dude, like, come on, like, just, it takes you 2 days to eat a bag of chips. That's nothing. Like, you're doing pretty good. To me, I just feel very bad, like, health-wise. So, you know, I definitely, but I get it very sparingly, I would say. It's not very often. But when I do get them, like, I eat them after I eat my meal. Like, it is a ritual. You know what I mean? But, the classic Cheeto, which I've heard There are people in this world where this Cheeto and the thumbnail is their favorite type of Cheeto. And I don't trust those people. No. I really don't. Like, look, don't get me wrong. This is an incredible Cheeto. An incredible chip, okay? But to say it's your favorite Cheeto? Like, really? Oh. You know what? Yeah, like the Cheeto, the puff Cheeto. Cheese flavored is really, I would say, superior to this type of Cheeto. I would say that. Now, obviously, I'm in love with anything spicy, so, for the most part. So, spicy Cheetos, just the best. But, spicy Cheetos, they can be too much, you know what I mean? Like, if you really overdo it. Now, the fries, like I mentioned, those are the ones that I can eat, like, a lot, and I'll be fine. I mean, there's times where I push it, depending on what I eat beforehand. But the regular Cheeto, spicy, can mess me up, like, for sure. I have to be, I eat that a little bit more carefully. But the cheese Cheeto is very harmless. So, I can see that. But the puff Cheeto, the only problem with that is that it gets in your teeth. It's, now these two do so as well, but especially the puff version. Oh my god. Apparently they're gluten-free. I don't think that matters. They're still bad for you in excess, of course. Which makes sense. You know, god damn it. Where's a napkin? Fuck. I gotta get a napkin. Okay, everyone. I'll be back. Okay, hold on. I'll be back. Hold on. Fuck. Hold on here. Can you even hear me? All right. We're back. Am I in focus now? I am. Jesus. I should have been prepared here. But yeah, gluten-free, I don't think that matters. I really don't. I don't think it matters if your Cheeto is gluten-free. You know, you don't want to be eating that too much anyway. So, which sometimes I think it's rather dangerous when companies put healthy stuff like that on items that are not very healthy. It's like when McDonald's says that it's 100% beef. It's like, okay, sure, but you probably shouldn't still eat that as often as you want to. You know, I get it. I totally get it. If I was the CEO of Frito-Lay, I'd be like, yeah, like, let's do it. Now, granted, I will say this, they don't display it, like on the front of the, they put it on the back of the bag, so it's fine. I commend them. But anyways, I also have Panera Bread potato chips, but this is too much. I'm not gonna do it. And also, potato chips are literally my least favorite chip. Okay, look, if they're there, I'll eat them for sure, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to get them. Like, are you kidding me? We all live such short lives, and you're going to spend your time eating potato chips, like regular potato. Come on, give me a break. But okay, yeah, let's talk about what I've been up to. I haven't been up to a lot because stuff's going down at work. Excuse me. I'm possibly going to eventually be laid off, maybe, perhaps. So it's kind of iffy. Now, granted, even if it wasn't for that, I would still be stressing out because it's my career and I stress way too much about my career. And I don't end up doing a lot of the things that I like to do after work because I'm just so drained and it sucks. It's awful. But it makes sense why people, you should pick the job that you really want to do, because it's very important for your own mental health and even for your physical well-being, right? But yeah, haven't been playing Hogwarts Legacy. I didn't get time to do it at all. I have been behind on my YouTube, although I wouldn't say I'm behind. I do what I need to do, but it's definitely not to the point where I wish it was. Like, I wish I could be uploading twice a week, but it's just not feasible right now. And also my editor is basically unavailable at this point, so I definitely need to get a new one. So it sucks. But these are things that I've talked about before. I really feel bad for some of you because I feel like a lot of you that listen, you could listen to episode 60 and then episode 63, which is the episode that we're on, and you'd be like, dude, it's like the same freaking episode. Are you having different life? Like, no, it's like you're saying the same things over and over again, and it's like, well, because my life is like this, it's like, what do you expect? So I'm sorry, I'm not super lively. I probably should get someone else with this podcast. I should probably have a guest a little bit more regularly. I used to have a lot of guests. I used to mix it up a little bit. Not as much as I think other podcasters, but I do like the challenge. I like the challenge of being by myself and carrying a conversation. I think it's more difficult than you think. I will say that. But yeah, what have I been up? Yeah, I don't think so. I'm at this point in my life. I want to spend so much money, but I shouldn't because of what's going on with my job. So I'm trying to hold back. So far, I'm doing pretty good, but I could totally see myself just freaking going for it. Which, man, if you think about it, everyone's got their vice. Everyone. But I will say this. I have played the demo for Resident Evil 4, the remake on PlayStation 5. Oh my God. I should have recorded myself playing it, and I should have uploaded it on YouTube, because the genuine reaction of me playing this for the first time. I never played. The original is my favorite game of all time, right? But I never really played it when it came out. And I wasn't part of the zeitgeist, the Resident Evil 4 zeitgeist. I didn't understand it, because I wasn't there. And I was just, I was a kid, but I wasn't probably with a very expanded conscience in 2004 or 5 when, Resident Evil 4 came out. I played it, much later when I was a little bit older. And it was a thing where and even then I didn't play it naturally. I watched someone else play the game, and I would play it with them, and I wouldn't move on to another area of the game without seeing how it is first. So I never really truly experienced the game the way it naturally. I watched a walkthrough, and retrospectively, I look at it, I look at that, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm such an idiot, you know what I mean? I didn't get to experience this stuff, and in many ways, I robbed myself from very genuine, genuine experience, genuine experiences with Resident Evil 4, and it sucks. In fact, I played a lot of my video games like that. I would watch walkthroughs of them on YouTube, and then I would go play them. But I would play, like I said, side by side. So I would play the game, I would stop at a certain point, look at what's next, watch that, But granted, a lot of this was entertaining as well. These walkthroughs were fun to watch. It wasn't like I was just watching someone play the game with no commentary. I hate those. I hate when people actually do that. That's a very strong word. I don't mean to say I hate, but I mean, I don't understand the appeal of watching just someone play a game without any commentary or any sort of engagement. I find that kind of boring. In that case, just go play the game yourself. But I understand just for the utility of it, of just, watching someone play a certain section that you're stuck on or whatever. But in the case of Resident Evil 4, that game was scary. And I think that's probably the main reason why I didn't just play it by myself. I was very scared of the game. It was very eerie. So yeah. But God, bringing it back to 2023, the remake is coming out March 24th, I believe. I should definitely have that day off. What day is that? Is that a Friday? It better be a Friday. Let me see. March. Oh wait, I'll just put Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 remake. When does it come out? March 24th. Yes. What? Where's the? I need a calendar. Come on. Calendar. Let's go to Google Calendar. March 24th. That is a Friday. Correct. Amundo. What am I doing that day? What is it looking like? It doesn't look like I have anything that day. But I definitely oof. God, I gotta do it. I gotta take that day off. I gotta do it. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna lose my job anyway, so fuck it. But so they released a demo for the game. But I was saying something. I was trying to say something about the experience. Yes. So the first 20 to 30 minutes of the game is insane. It's like the best intro to a video game ever. I might make a video on it as well. But it's the greatest, video game intro ever. It's like, and it makes sense why I love that sort of thing. It makes sense why I love Resident Evil 4. Because it's so consistently great. Not only that, but also it's like a song. It's like an album. Like, I love albums that start out great, But the problem is when there's a lot of albums that start out great and then they sort of descend into awfulness. Resident Evil 4 does not do that. It is great, but that intro is a fucking banger. Like, that really just the game is like your dad trying to teach you how to swim, and your dad grabbing you and just throwing you into the pool, and hopefully you can stay afloat. It's like that. But it's the best way to get someone into a game. Just throw them into one of the hardest, like it's really hard because you're not familiar with the game. It's literally in the first 20 to 30 minutes, you're getting accustomed to the way the video game plays. So being thrown into such a chaotic sequence, and I mean, spoilers, if you haven't played Resident Evil 4, come on, but it's basically a Chainsaw Man sequence. It's a ton of enemies, and it's a small area, and there's a guy with a chainsaw just running around trying to kill you. It's perfect. And so but I never got to really play that section genuinely. Like, I think or even then I probably don't remember. I don't think I remember, but I remember playing the second sequence, the level after that village level with the Chainsaw Man. That's the only thing I remember. But then I played the game on the Wii, and I remember that a little bit more fondly. But even then, the memory's a little bit hazy. But I was scared of the game. It was terrifying. Yada yada yada. Whatever. But I wasn't like 20 years old when I was playing this game. Whereas so many people in 2005, I think that's when the game came out, played the game, when they were 20 years old. They played the game for the first time, and that game was revolutionary. They've never played a game like that ever. And I never got that, right? Excuse me. So it sucks. It definitely sucks. But with the remake, I played the demo, and they very much, I think it was like with the first one, they released a demo too. I believe, I don't know, somehow, don't quote me. But this remake, this demo's come out, I played it, and it's the Chainsaw, Village section of the game. The very first section of the game. You play it, and oh my God, this is going to be my favorite game of all time again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really feeling that. But it's incredible the way they have upgraded, the control scheme, the certain things about the game, just certain small things that they've added, even story-wise, that fit so much better. And it's almost like they've upped the ante as well, with the things that worked in the original game. They have made it better, which is insane. I was so scared of them. In fact, I remember before this demo even came out, when I saw the game and I've seen gameplay of it, I was like, this looks really cool. This looks great. But like, I was very much weary. It's like when someone is remaking your favorite movie or doing a cover, it's like you're always weary that it's going to be bad, right? And so, especially with Resident Evil 4 being my favorite game of all time, I was like, oh my God, like, I just can't imagine. Like, I'm so scared of that first section of the game, right? The Chainsaw Man section, it's like, how are they going to make this better? Like, or how are they're going to mess it up? You know what I mean? And they totally didn't mess it up. And here's the thing. The good thing about a remake is that you can there's no room, like, you cannot mess up, right? You either keep it sort of the same or you make it a little bit better. And in this case, it's a perfect balance. Some things they've kept pretty, I wouldn't say identical, but they kept pretty the same. And then many things they've improved. So, but what I'm really getting at here is that for the first time ever, I feel like I got a genuine experience with Resident Evil 4 as a grown adult, as a grown person, right? I'm 24 years old, and this is the prime time for me to be playing a game like this. And I'm so glad I got to experience it at my age right now. I have a mind, I have a conscience, and also it's my favorite game of all time, and I was able to experience it in a genuine way and actually feel what people back in 2005 felt when they played the game. And that's how I felt. I played the game. I was like, holy shit. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's awesome. That's so cool. Oh my God. I died like 3 times or something, 4 times. It was insane. And I loved it. And I can't wait to play the game. It's kind of annoying that they released this demo. Like, we still have to wait 2 weeks for the game. It's just kind of annoying. But it's fine. I mean, we've waited all this time. Might as well. I'm probably going to have to drop Hogwarts Legacy by this point because, I just don't play as often as I need to, like to keep up with this stuff, man. Like Hogwarts Legacy is like a fucking 20, 40 hour game, and I'm like 3 hours in or something. Like there's no way. You know what I mean? I really need to be better at this stuff, but I just can't. But man, Resident Evil 4, man. I just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait. But, and it's interesting, even the original game, it's been my favorite game of all time because it's such a cozy game for me. It is the game that I know like the back of my hand. I can go back anytime. I could just play it. And hey, it could still kick my butt sometimes. Sometimes I die in that game. You would think I would be a complete pro, that is. But no, and that speaks, really good things about the game. But, when I think about it being my favorite game of all time, sometimes I sort of second guess myself on that because there's been times where I play the game and I'm like, this is boring. You know what I mean? And maybe it's boring because I just know it so much and I played it so many times. But, I played it on my Switch. I beat it on my Switch. I've beaten it on my PS4. I've beaten it on the original the Nintendo Wii. I beat it on the GameCube. I don't think I ever beat it on the PlayStation. I might have beaten it on the PlayStation 2, but that's the worst version of the game, I would say, other than the original PC version. But, it's just... that game has been with me for so many years, and I know it, like I said, like the back of my hand. It is, I think, an amazing video game. It is what video games are at their prime to me. I mean, story-wise, it's not The Last of Us. Definitely not. I mean, it's very cheesy, it's very campy. But the gameplay design, and it's a game where that campiness, that cheesiness really elevates the game. It's so funny. It is a video game, right? It's like it's not shy to show you that it's a video game, but it does it in a masterful, sophisticated way, and I love that. The end result doesn't turn me off. The remake, just playing 20, 25 minutes of the game with this demo, they're still keeping it cheesy. And in fact, at times they've elevated that cheesiness and it's not turning me off. Like, I love it. It's incredible. I love it. So I don't know. It's interesting, but, God, yeah, 25 minutes talking about Resident Evil 4 and, a homeless person. So very, very entertaining discussion here, I would say. And I think after I was talking about that homeless individual, which some people have, said that term is sort of offensive now. Now it's supposed to be houseless or something. I'm not sure which term it is. I think homeless means sort of the same thing, but like you know what I mean when I say homeless. But, I get it, like technically some people who are homeless, that's either their decision or, whatever, like them being homeless doesn't mean that they're not without a home. Just because they live on the street doesn't mean that that's not their home. Like it's also kind of, I get the derogatory aspect of it. I totally get it. So houseless individual, homeless individual, you understand. But I thought I was going to go into some tangent about just the homeless issue in this country. But no, instead I went to Resident Evil 4. Okay. Let's look at a random topic because I thought this topic was interesting. Of course, randomtopicgenerator.com. Did you experience a failure in life? If yes, how did you manage to get back on your feet? So I don't necessarily want to answer this fully. It's really more about failures in life. I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with time, right? Like time is so incredibly important with anything. You break up, just wait it out. You're going to be fine. Obviously, the first 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 6 months of your breakup, of your divorce or whatever is awful. It takes a toll on you. And that's to be expected. And that's fine. But, eventually time heals all wounds, right? I mean, and now granted, sometimes time doesn't heal all wounds in the sense that when you get reminded of something, or you yourself, you think about that time that you did this or that this person did this to you. And then you just go back into that darkness, that dark cloud looms over you once again. But there are some people, of course, who have dominated that and they're not so easily swayed, or I guess they're not just like, thinking these dark thoughts, they're able to avoid thinking those things, right? They have surpassed those temptations, and that's wonderful. That's really what you should aim for, right? But specifically with failures, a lot of my failures, I think of like, it's probably because of how much I've lived. I'm only 24, so I haven't really had these like, like God damn it, like I regret it, or damn, I really failed at this. There's things that I have in my life that are like that, but a lot of it I understand it's because of who I was at the time. It was because of my environment. I'm not excusing it, but I don't really beat myself up over it. And I think I've talked about this in a previous Chips and Talk as well. But a lot of my failures that I think about a lot are just cringy, just uncomfortable moments in my life where I knew I messed up or I said this or this happened and I didn't do this, or just like, small periods of times, like 6 months, of the things that I was doing, in that span of time. I'm just like, oh my God, I just completely was an idiot, for 6 months of this point in my life, or, a multitude of scenarios, in a whole year, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain, but I think about all these failures, these cringy, uncomfortable moments, that I think I made, just a complete, mess of myself in front of people. And I think about that and it just really drags me down. It really does. And the only way I can get out of it is just keep telling myself, don't think about that time that you did this or that you didn't do this and a lot of my things, a lot of my worries are based on what people think about me or the assumptions that I have about people that have about me. You know what I mean? Like, and that can really bring me down. And I know I should probably stop doing that because I don't ultimately know the answer. It's just, I'm just creating my own worry in my own head, because I don't really know what that person thinks about me or thought about me at that point in time that I thought was super cringy or what I did was awful, like, I don't know. So it sucks. But, one thing I do is I think about, I know that I'm about to think of the moment. I'm going to just dwell in it. And I tell myself, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like don't do that. Like just stop it. But I know the event, and I'm already feeling weird about it. But I'm just like, don't think about it any further. Don't pay more attention to it. So I avoid it. And then other times I just do it, and then I just it's awful. It's terrible. I mean, it's and I wish I could give you specific examples. I just don't really want to be too specific because we'd be here for a long time. But a lot of it, like I said, it's the way I've spoken to people, things that I've assumed people assume about me, certain things that I did, and I don't know, I think I've already mentioned a few in past Chips and Talks. Maybe this topic is completely just overused, or yeah, I've already done it. Excuse me. But yeah, it sucks. And that whole time heals all wounds thing, I think I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, but what if you keep getting wounded? You know what I mean? Then it's a forever torture, right? It's not then it's just, you're just going to keep being in pain. So it sucks. I mean, it sucks. God, this episode's going to be very depressing. Resident Evil 4 and regrets and failures. But, I mean, like I said, there's times that I do think about the things that I didn't do, these giant spans of time, of my, I don't know, teenage years that I didn't do this. My whole high school life, from my, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, I'm like, oh God, why didn't I do all, I beat myself up over not starting YouTube or not starting a podcast when I was in high school. I wish I did that, because I probably could be somewhere else right now. I probably would have had a different amount of subscribers by now. Who knows? But I didn't do it, and I can't necessarily beat myself up over it because I don't even, and I remember at the time when I was in high school, I did think about doing it. I thought about wanting to do it. I thought about, okay, once I'm done with high school, I'll do it, and I'll just fucking, blow up, and I just had this super, I don't know, just a stupid way of looking at life, just super procrastination, just not really understanding the realities of life. And a lot of that has to do with the environment that I had, the parenting that I had. And so I don't necessarily blame myself. And I was underage, man. I mean, what do you expect? And especially when I compare myself to other people, of course, right? And that's just one example, right? But then there are other, really small examples that I really dwell on more, of that one time that I said this to this person, or it was, a certain, I was in a meeting and I said this, or I didn't say this. It's really more of what I do say. I beat myself up way more over the things that I do say and the things that I do than the things that I don't do. But of course, there are plenty of those regrets as well. So, but those small things of, oh my God, I said this, I did this. What is that person thinking about me? Or I completely I have so much anxiety over any interaction that I have with anyone, it's very taxing. It really is, but it's the truth. And so, what I do is I just try to avoid it. I try to avoid it, really. And sometimes I do that thing where I think about it and then I try to create a scenario in my head where I'm like, well, it could have been this, or this could have happened. And maybe I'm just beating myself up over nothing, So I try to be very objective sometimes as well, because it's the truth. You don't really know at the end of the day. So, God, I feel like I just said a bunch of nonsense, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is Chips and Talk, episode 63. Yeah, this is it. This is the end of the episode, everyone. If you didn't notice, or if you weren't aware, Jesus Christ. See, that's a moment right there where I'm just going to be like, God damn it, why? And actually, I'm actually going to say one more story. I think I might have said this, but I was in high school. I was in choir. I'm a good singer. I consider myself a good singer. But being in the high school that I went to, everyone was a good singer. Like it was a performing arts school, and there was this one individual who I consider to be my rival, I would say. And I didn't really like this person. I thought this person's attitude was very, egotistical, condescending, all this. Now, granted, we can go into another thing of like, we always hate the very people that reflect the terrible qualities in us and all this. Whatever. I mean, I was condescending and I did have an ego, but I don't think I was like that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. Anyways, and so there was a solo that we were going to have for the concert, for a choir concert. I auditioned for it. This person got the solo instead, and I thought that was just so embarrassing. And they got it, and I went to the choir teacher. There was two choir teachers. One of them, I didn't have this specific choir teacher was his teacher, who I went to. And I went to her, and I was just like, I feel like I should have gotten that solo. That's just what I'm thinking, And obviously, retrospectively now, do I regret telling her that? Not necessarily, but I mean, like, I could see the reason to not tell her that, right? But I did. And then she was like, I really think you're dwelling on it. That's what she said. And I'm like, and I just thought it was a terrible response because, like, no, I think that would have been a good response had she said it after she said, maybe I'm sorry, I'm sorry he did, but we do think he did a better job. She didn't even say anything like that, which maybe I understand why she maybe didn't, maybe she didn't want to hurt my feelings. And so she just resorted to the advice of like, stop dwelling on it. Just let it go. You know what I mean? Like, and yes, it is good advice, but I would say it was good advice. It's good advice after doing the nice thing, but then again, I don't know. I'm not going to say it was, even though I did say it was a terrible response. See, look at what I'm doing right now. And I'm dwelling on the response that she gave me. And her response was, don't dwell on what happened. Yeah. So, but that was when I was in high school, and I still think about that. And I'm pretty sure you have moments like that as well. But anyways, okay, I'm done. Thank you for listening. Have a good workout. If it's your birthday, happy birthday to you. Beautiful individual. That's it for me. You take care. Stay safe. And until next time, I love you.